Even though the Retribution faction came to the WWE RAW brand with much momentum, we have seen how quickly it has all fizzled out from poor booking, and already, Mustafa Ali has been berating Reckoning or Mia Yim from NXT for losing her matches. One wonders if this is an attempt to break the shackles and have Mia Yim branch out as a top star on the WWE RAW brand. Asuka is so short on opponents at this point in time that she has to be inserted in the tag team picture. One thing we know for sure about Mia Yim is that if she's given the opportunity, she can go on to have excellent matches in the WWE RAW Women's division, and the best way to achieve this is to have her move out of Retribution. Maybe WWE books an angle where Mustafa Ali kicks her out of the faction for good this week on WWE RAW, and she needs to pick up a few wins to make her way back. A recent report about Vince McMahon sending a few top superstars back to the Performance Center for further training has the pro wrestling world talking. The 5 superstars reportedly being sent back to the WWE Performance Center by Vince McMahon are Keith Lee, Otis, Mace, Diamond, Dabba-Kato, and Amos. On the latest Wrestling Observer Radio, Dave Meltzer reported that the decision to send these superstars to the Performance Center to improve their skills is not a demotion. Vince McMahon wants to get them ready for potential pushes in the future. As per Meltzer, Vince McMahon was angry as he thought none of these superstars knew how to work. Talking specifically about Raw superstar Keith Lee, Meltzer reported that Vince McMahon thinks he's not ready but understands the talent he possesses. Keith Lee and the other superstars mentioned will undergo training sessions with WWE producer Adam Pearce and Drew Gulak. Keith Lee has gone from strength to strength since his breakout performance at Survivor Series 2019. In 2020, Keith Lee became the first superstar to simultaneously hold the NXT North American Championship and NXT Championship. After losing those titles, Keith Lee was moved up to the main roster and joined Raw after SummerSlam 2020. After impressing the fans with his performance in NXT, WWE's presentation of Keith Lee on the main roster was criticized by many. Even though Keith Lee won a big match at Payback by defeating Randy Orton, his booking on the main roster has been inconsistent. After feuding with Braun Strowman, Keith Lee qualified for Team Raw for Survivor Series 2020 and had an impressive showing at the PPV, helping his team defeat SmackDown. He was part of a triple threat match on Raw with the winner qualifying to challenge WWE Champion Drew McIntyre, which AJ Styles won. Shayna Baszler isn't someone who minces her words while taking a shot at others. Her latest target was fellow Raw superstar Lana, who's all set to take on Baszler's tag team partner Nia Jax on this week's edition of WWE Raw. WWE posted a tweet hyping up the Lana vs Nia Jax, and Baszler had something to say about the ravishing one. Baszler stated that Lana is the dumbest person on earth. It has been more than 2 months since Nia Jax first put Lana through a table on an episode of WWE Raw. Unfortunately for Lana, this was just the first of 9 occasions that she would be put through a table by Jax. The segments didn't sit well with the WWE universe, but Lana finally got something out of it when she became the sole survivor at Survivor Series. Lana and Asuka recently won 2 back-to-back tag matches against Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. At the upcoming WWE TLC PPV, Lana and Asuka will challenge for the Women's Tag Team Championship, but the former will have to go through Nia Jax first. Jax certainly isn't in a good mood after losing 2 straight matches, and Lana will have to watch out for another Samoan drop through the table. Sasha Banks appeared in an interview with WWE India and answered a bunch of questions. When asked what she still wants to achieve in WWE, Banks said she wanted to win every possible championship WWE has to offer, including several men's titles. Sasha Banks said that she could not believe how much she has accomplished in WWE, but still feels she has a lot more to do. Banks listed the NXT UK Women's Championship, WWE Championship, Intercontinental Championship, and United States Championship as titles she is still looking to win in the future. "I've done so much, I can't even believe it, but I feel like I need to win the NXT UK Women's Championship, the WWE Championship, the Intercontinental title, United States title. There's just so much more to do and I've got a lot of time to do it, so I cannot wait. It is safe to say that Sasha Banks does not lack ambition, and while it may be difficult for her to hold all those titles, it certainly isn't impossible. But for now, all her focus will be on WWE TLC and her opponent Carmella. The legit boss is scheduled to defend her WWE SmackDown Women's Championship against Carmella. Banks has been caught off guard by Carmella several times over the past few weeks, even losing to her on last week's SmackDown via DQ. Sasha Banks will be looking to get one over on Carmella at TLC after the constant humiliation she has suffered over the weeks. However, despite all this, Banks is confident about leaving TLC as the WWE SmackDown Women's Champion. Nikki Cross and Randy Orton would make the oddest on-screen pairing, but just think about it for a moment. Randy Orton is constantly at the mercy, no pun intended, of both Alexa Bliss and Bray Wyatt on WWE RAW, and he does need backup of some kind. Is there a better way for Orton to achieve this objective than to recruit Nikki Cross as an ally? Could we see a massive WWE RAW main event where Alexa Bliss and Bray Wyatt team up to take on Nikki Cross and Randy Orton in a mixed tag match? We know that WWE RAW star Nikki Cross has been portrayed as unhinged on many occasions. All four of these characters could engage in mind games on WWE RAW this week, and it would be interesting to see just how it all plays out. Plus, Nikki Cross could also take the pin on WWE RAW this week so that none of the other top stars are hurt on their way to TLC 2020. Is this a match you'd want to see?